OOP's dog ate her neighbor's drone. Neighbor takes her to small claims court, which ironically is the best thing that happens to OOP. My neighbor Brian has been obsessed with his stupid drone for like 2 years now. And I'm not talking about just flying it around normally. This guy uses it specifically to mess with my dog Max. Max is this big dopey golden retriever who loses his mind whenever he sees anything flying. Birds, bugs, literally anything. So Brian figured out that if he flies his drone low over my backyard, Max goes absolutely crazy trying to catch it. Jumping, barking, running in circles. Brian thinks it's hilarious. I've asked him to stop at least 10 times. Every single time he gives me the same smug response. You don't own the air above your yard. Technically, I can fly wherever I want. One time it got so bad I actually called the police because the drone kept dive bombing Max and almost hit him in the head. The cops showed up and asked Brian to please stop flying over my yard to avoid problems. But that just made him do it more, like he was trying to prove a point or something. Last Tuesday, I'm inside making lunch when I hear Max going absolutely berserk in the backyard. I look out the window and sure enough, there's Brian's drone doing loops about 6 feet off the ground. Max is jumping like his life depends on it. Then I hear this loud crash and the buzzing stops. I run outside and Max is standing there with pieces of black plastic in his mouth looking super proud of himself. The drone is scattered across my yard in like 15 pieces. Some of the propellers are bent. The camera is cracked. It's completely destroyed. Before I can even process what happened, Brian comes storming into my yard through the side gate. He's screaming at the top of his lungs. That was a $900 drone. You're paying for this right now. I told him I wasn't paying for anything and that he shouldn't have been flying it in my yard after I asked him to stop. He kept yelling and demanding cash, so I just went inside and locked the door. He stood there pounding on it for like 5 minutes before he finally left. 2 hours later, cops show up again. Brian called them saying I refused to let him get his broken drone from my yard, which was a complete lie. He never asked. He just came in screaming. The police picked up the drone pieces and told us to work it out between ourselves. I figured that was the end of it. But 3 weeks later, a sheriff's deputy shows up at my door with a court summons. Brian was suing me in small claims court for the full cost of his drone plus emotional distress. My mother-in-law works as a paralegal secretary, so I got to talk to one of the lawyers at her office for free. When I explained the situation, this guy actually started laughing. He told me I should absolutely counter-sue. And then he asked me something I hadn't even thought about. Does your neighbor live near an airport? I pulled up a map and sure enough, we're like 4 miles from a small airport. The lawyer explained that technically means Brian needed FAA approval to fly his drone. And from what I described, he was definitely breaking multiple regulations. Flying out of sight, flying too high, flying near an airport without clearance. So I called the FAA hotline and reported everything. They took it really seriously. Called me back twice asking for more details. Turns out Brian owned 2 massive drones and wasn't registered for either of them. They started a full investigation. Court day comes and I brought everything. Both police reports, photos of my 8-foot privacy fence, videos of Brian doing flybys over Max, medical bills from the vet because I had to get Max x-rayed to make sure he didn't swallow any drone parts. His teeth also got chipped, so I had dental work done too. Brian's argument to the judge was absolutely insane. He claimed I maliciously installed a picnic table in my yard specifically to help Max jump high enough to catch the drone, and that I somehow trained Max to attack drones on command. The judge just stared at him like he was crazy. I explained that I bought the table so I could eat lunch outside, that Brian had been harassing my dog for 2 years, that Max could have died if he swallowed pieces of the drone or if it hit him. I showed the videos of near misses. The judge looked more annoyed with Brian after each piece of evidence. When it was time for the ruling, the judge dismissed Brian's case completely, then awarded me just under $2,000 for vet bills, x-rays, sedation, dental work, anxiety medication for Max, all of it. Brian had to pay every penny. But the best part was what came next. The judge issued an official order banning Brian from flying any drones over my property ever again. If he violated it, he could face serious consequences. Brian's face went completely red and he stormed out of the courtroom. I installed trail cameras in my front and backyard that same day just in case he tried anything. And 2 weeks after court, I got a call from the FAA. They fined Brian $1,500 for multiple violations and confiscated both of his drones. He's banned from flying anything without completing a safety course and getting properly registered. Brian refuses to make eye contact with me now, and Max gets to play in the backyard without any drones buzzing over his head.